I was fortunate to come up under some of the real heroes of the credit union movement. I mentioned Edgar Fontaine. Well, he was a white Italian guy, right? But there were some African American gentlemen. One being Mr. Moody. Oh, Mr. Moody was a gentleman. Mr. Moody ran the teachers' credit union here in Shreveport, and Mr. Moody he'd been a principal of a school for over 30 years before he started running the credit union. And he ran the credit union probably for that long too, or longer. But he liked me a lot, and he understood because I was young and I had a lot of fire, and I really felt things ought to be fair, and I was pretty vocal, and he was like he was a great mentor, and he'd tell me, he'd calm me down. And he had a very calming voice, and he would, tell me things. He sounded like my dad, because my dad would say, "Baby, you got to live to fight another day," And it was just little simple things that I remember him talking about. And Mr. Moody was a lot like that. He had grown up when you just didn't talk back and you didn't have an opinion. And so he was very comfortable, while I was not that comfortable, but he helped me to be comfortable, and he helped me to find my place in the movement. Richard Turnley was another gentleman that was built his credit union, Southern Parents and Teachers, in Baton Rouge. Mr. Turner he loved to talk about the civil rights movement. He was he was a state representative for many years out of that area, and so he very, very intelligent man, and he was a Southernite, Southern University, graduated Southern University, and I believe he worked at the university for a period of time. At least I know he was in education. But his passion was running and building Southern Teachers and Parents Credit Union. And Mr. Turnley would tell us about going to the league meetings and not being invited inside of the meeting. And he'd have the African American leaders, board members and managers would have to stand outside of the meeting, and when friends or people sympathetic to that position would often come out and share with them what the debates were about and what they were learning, and they'd bring out packets of information and share it. And for me, that was just totally unpalatable. But they would help me to understand that it's just the way it was, and it was more important to get the information than it was to be accepted or or to be able to go and sit down with the crowd. It was more important that they be there, humble themselves enough to receive what was being given there, which was knowledge and information. And because they take that knowledge, and once they got it, there was no controlling, no one could control what they did with it. And it was a great lesson for me, and I've used it throughout my career. I remember many days. And Richard Turnley was one of the founders of the African American Credit Union Coalition also. But I remember that because through time, being an African American leader in the majority white credit union movement, with regulators and everybody else not looking like me and not understanding me sometimes, it wasn't always easy, but with lessons and sacrifices made by the Richard Turnleys and the Mr. Moody's and the Mr. Steino Turner, which was a gentleman that ran Webster Parish Federal Credit Union. It's a neighboring parish here, about 30 miles from here. They were real gentlemen. They were some of the most intelligent men. And I could name, there are so many more in Louisiana, generally in teachers' credit unions, because that was, other than a municipal government, that's where the majority of professional African Americans would find themselves working as teachers. And so it was not unusual for those groups to have credit unions.